Audio Jungle. Okay, so I'm going to go over some items to consider. Melissa, you just did an awesome job just throwing out all of that information about single phase, three phase, VFDs, all that. Why is it important to know the difference between single phase and three phase power? When you're looking at a space, um, and the equipment that you have, you want to make sure that the equipment that you're wanting to get can go into the available space. And then vice versa. If you've got an existing space, you need to make sure, can you fit the equipment in your existing panel? Um, like she said, you can run single phase equipment on three phase power, but you cannot run three phase power on single phase equipment, or three phase equipment on single phase power. Washer maintenance. So these are things that should be done daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annually. And you'll get a copy of this, so you'll be able to, if you want to print it out, you're welcome to. This is also in your user manual. So you should have, when you look at your operation, or yeah, the operator's manual, it will give you a preferred schedule of maintenance that you need to do on your equipment for your specific brand. But basic things, making sure the soap dish is cleaned out on a regular basis, wiping down the door glass, the rubber gasket. All of that's going to reduce the grime. You want to verify that your drains are flowing freely, that you're not having standing water, and inspect the hoses or connections for leaks. That needs to be done every single day. You cannot have a leak that's happening, and then next thing you know, your water bill is going to be through the roof. Weekly, you want to use a cleaner on the door seals and the gaskets. You don't want to have it moldy. That's the smell. Once you open up that washer drum, you're going to smell it, and your customers will smell it, and then they're going to think, well, if this is not clean, how are they going to clean my clothes? Checking for unusual noises and vibrations during the spin. This is really critical, just like your brakes. So like when you are driving around, all of a sudden you hear a little squeak on your brakes. That is a signal that is ahead of time to say, hey, you need to change your brakes before you need to have all new rotors, right? So it's kind of the same thing. You're listening for your bearings, you're listening for unusual noises and those vibrations to make sure just everything's running smoothly. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of high dollar maintenance items that are going to be needed to do on your equipment.
Mhm. Left unchecked, they will cost you a lot of money in the long run.
Is quarterly and annually. Things should have service plans in place where you can hire them to come in once a quarter and once a year to do just those basic checkups. It's just like taking your car in for an oil change. But it's just getting them to just do a deep dive, and they can do a whole lot more work to make sure that your equipment is running in tip-top shape. Dryer maintenance, same concept. You want to empty and clean the lint screens, check for unusual noises, wipe down the control panels. We all see what things, what kind of items go into these pieces of equipment. I mean, you can have nuts and bolts and nails and other things that we don't want to even list on here. But you want to make sure that those aren't getting sucked into the machine and the components, because it can really damage your equipment. Vacuuming around and behind the dryers to prevent the lint will help prevent fire hazards. Um, Inspecting your belts and rollers, uh, making sure that when you're hearing like if you can hear the squeaky belt, you want to get those removed, and having some basic parts available on hand will also help downtime as well. So when you do have a service person that comes in and you're saying, I already have my belts, I already have my water valves or gasket, it's very helpful to have that. And again, the same thing with the quarterly and the annually. I would recommend having the distributor service contract is a perfect time to have them come in and look at your machine. It's not preventative maintenance, it's just routine maintenance, but it can help prevent costly damage that could possibly happen if you don't take good care of your equipment.
Mhm. All very good points.
Keeping a maintenance log. You want to have a service call, a log of all of your service calls, the dates that service was done, what items were serviced, and what it looked like. You want to train your attendants to be your eyes and ears and boots on the ground. So if they're noticing that there's a small drip or a leak or vibrations or the squeaky belt, you want to have them be able to listen for it and then let you know immediately that if you're hearing something. Again, many of our distributors are they do regular service schools. So what no matter what brand of equipment you have, they offer service schools that you and your attendants can attend and get those in depth. Because I mean, again, you're working with the manufacturer, so you'll get some in-depth information about your equipment. Um, Scheduling routine maintenance. It says, I mean, we do say it's suggested to do every 12 months to doing the annual, but my suggestion is even to do it even greater and do the quarterly ones. I just see that there's a lot of things that are missed when the owner takes it on and says, "Well, I don't need them, but for the year." Just getting another set of eyes on your equipment and you again it's establishing that relationship, so having them come out regularly and they're going to see you and see them, and it's you're just creating that rapport and that open line of communication. That's going to help you out in the long run, and then proactively replace those belts and hoses and um, even the bearings before they fail so that you can prevent your downtime and those costly emergency calls.
So, as a note, it said, remember that your machines will talk to you. They will talk to you. They will tell you when something's wrong with them. When you walk in your store and you're listening and you hear a sound that sounds out of the ordinary, go investigate it. Don't wait.
Mhm.
The biggest headache of laundry owners, especially, let's say you have multiple stores, is letting those sounds go by unchecked and then finding, not only do you have to replace rollers, but now you have to replace a drum. You may have to replace a bearing. There's no telling what it could cost. If you hear water running, go investigate it. But listen to your machines. They will tell you when they're not feeling well.
That's right. So these are some, again, very high level tools to put in your toolbox. These are things that, I mean, these are the things that Melissa and I, when we were going, okay, what is absolutely crucial? And I look at my tool bags and I look at what do I have multiple of that I cannot go on site without. And it's a multimeter, these torque bits. So the one with that has a circle in this one is the security one. Usually when you get them in the store, they come in with like, you'll get a couple. Get five. Like, I don't know why, but you always lose them.
Uh-huh.
Uh, so get five. Just have five on hand. That's a good number. Um, it's good for when you lose them. It's good for when where is that? Because if it has the one that has the dot in the middle, the security one, there's no other way you can get into that without this one particular bit.
Hmm.
Automotive trim tools. These are all the different sizes and shapes, and they're good to have on hand.
Yeah.
Flathead screwdriver and Phillips head screwdriver. Seems very basic, but you'd be surprised at how many people don't have this in their toolbox. A socket set in both metric and standard. Channel locks, and then an O-ring spreader. So if you have small chassis front load equipment in your like LGs or Encores, having this O-ring spreader will save hours of time.
And that's for the spring that goes around and holds the gasket in the door.
Correct.
Yep. And a note on the automotive trim tools. I know they're automotive, but this little set of tools, the two on the right will help you get your door glass gaskets back on and back in your door. You're still gonna fight it. There is no easy way to do it. It's always a horrible, horrible fight, but these little tools will help you get those in there. And then they also come in handy sometimes, the ones with the little slits in the end. For popping clips, if you can't quite get it with your fingernail or something like that, one of these little tools will help you pop some of those open.
Or like when you break a nail, like I did this weekend. Um,
Or you don't have them.